How's everyone today? Good morning. Okay, getting better. What a great way to kick things off, Rimple. So trust, confidence, actions. Yeah, I agree. It's really what we're here for. And first of all, it's really a pleasure to be here with all of you today. I can feel the sense of possibility in the room that hopefully is going to be growing throughout the day. And it's really truly inspiring to be here with all of you. I'm ready to learn, to connect, and I hope to shape the future going forward, as Rimple said, but also hopefully to have some fun. And it's great to have the opportunity to do this in such a great, city like London, my hometown city, and certainly doing with you, our customers, our partners, and the broad A4 community is truly a joy. So really, I want to start by saying a heartfelt thank you. First, thank you for taking the time to come here. And I know some of you are coming from a long way. It's not an easy commute sometimes here. At least it's good weather today. Thank you certainly for your trust in us. That means a lot to us. And thank you for being such a great partner and deciding to be accompanying us on this journey. So let's reflect a little bit, what has happened since a year ago. And it's happening a lot. And I say it's happening a lot because you've really been feeding us with a lot of ideas, with a lot of feedback in terms of what we need to work on. I think and I believe this past year we've been going bolder and bigger than ever before. If we review a little bit, we launched our talent tracking, our AI native ATS. We introduced talent design to help many of you organizations to really scale the skills across the entire workforce. But we also know that we need to make things easier for you. So we work on self-configuration, a much easier admin experience for all of you. And certainly, a big request I know is in these rooms is what about innovation? What about enhancements requests in our foundation, in our core? And we work over 150 updates during the last 12 months. And I will tell you around 65% of those updates were coming directly from you. So we're certainly listening. We're certainly trying to do a good job for you, and we're really increasing the pace of innovation at which we are delivering. As Rimple commented, we're very happy to come with the support of our partners. Without them, we could not be doing this, and we could not be delivering value to you. And this year, partners being a core strategic pillar to us, we're also kind of been forming a partner advisory board. We've been rebuilding our training curriculum, and we've really been shaping up activities with them. But, I think it's important not that we're reading what we did, but that we also listen. So we intentionally launched some customer listening programs, try to create more trust with you, but also do what you need in terms of the market needs, together listening to our partners and listening to our customers. And also we invested in our online community that I know many of you have been basically using to really ask for what we should be building. So I appreciate you doing that. So let's talk a little bit now. That was a year in review. Then what's coming next? And I know as we look at what's coming next, clearly, and today is going to be a good example of it, is a lot of discussion about Agentic AI, isn't it? And clearly, AI is no longer any media hype. That has been for a while. It is a reality. And I know it's a big topic in boardrooms in many of your companies across the world. And I know many of you are being asked and are grappling with challenging questions, right? Should I embrace Agentic AI? How do I make it work within my organization? What is it going to mean for people, for jobs, for transformation? How do we measure success? And maybe even some questions you're not asking ourselves, but maybe you should. How is Agentic AI going to be disrupting our business model, or could be disrupting it, right? We're in the verge of a lot of transformation today, and a lot of change that is going to be coming over the next few years. And when I put yourselves on your shoes, and even when you put yourselves on my own shoes, it is a bit overwhelming. Because Agentic AI, let's be honest, is one of the most significant technological leaps of our lifetime. And with any leap forward, you know what? Yeah, there are nerves. But there is also massive opportunity. I'm one of those that like to look the glass a little bit half full. So let's look a little bit at the massive opportunity, because this is real. And it's massive opportunity because agentic AI is not any longer about, basically just automation. It's about real-time decision making. So let's make an analogy in terms of what is agentic AI. How many of you are foodies here? People that like to have good food. All right. Thank you for those that are foodies. I am too, right? So what I would say is agentic AI is not me in the kitchen, right? I'm not that good. I'm not that fun. I'm the home cook guy, right? So I kind of follows the recipe, right? These are the ingredients. The tomatoes are underripe. There are lemon zest. Someone doesn't like cilantro. This is the recipe. Man, you take it, right? No improvisation, right? Because at least you got a good excuse. Hey, I followed the recipe, it didn't work out. It's not on me, it's the done recipe, right? You get the job done, but I wouldn't say it gets really tailored or it is really inspired. Right? Now, a chef, a really great chef, mamma mia. That's agentic AI, right? Those guys, they know how to toss it out. They know how to improvise. They know how to taste it, to mix it up. They understand who they're serving, the ingredients they're working on. They understand their audience. They really want to create something that is more memorable, that has that taste, that has that life, that has that understanding of the context, that has real-time decision making. That is what we're talking about here. Because I think all of us have had that experience where you go and taste one risotto, and it's not the same as another risotto. Either the rice was not right, the broth was bland, and you felt like, oh, this is just, risotto rice, la, la, la. The other one is really memorable, right? And it's really memorable because it's, about talent intelligence, it's about real-time context-aware decision-making. And that is what makes it different. And that, I think, is what is coming with agentic AI. That sense of possibility as well with those ingredients, of course, that will make a difference in terms of the outputs. That is why many of you are also working on that freshness, that accuracy, that clarity of that data, because that will also have input, in terms of the quality of the output that you're going to be getting. So as I said before, why agentic AI changes and is a massive opportunity going forward is because it's about real-time decision-making. And that changes everything, because the way we've been thinking traditionally about organizations is about teams, is about reporting lines, is about hierarchies. The goal we've been seeking, how we've been thinking that way and structuring that way, and even as Rimpo was saying, our job architecture, is because we want to understand, how humans make decisions and how information flows in order to make those decisions. But in the world we're living today, where we have those agents that, they can understand what's going on, they can understand the context, and they can make decisions as well on the fly, that principle really shakes up. I would say that principle changes. And we're moving from, being able to make it cheaper and faster and about the productivity gains, to basically, what does it mean actually for the architecture and what is done? How the work gets done? Who does the work going forward? And what does that mean for how we work together and how we should be defining and designing that one, right? And those, are clearly a different way and a key transformation on how we do that. And that's what I believe that you, the people in this room, many of you being HR practitioners, have a significant responsibility going forward, because I believe HR needs to lead this transformation. Yeah, not stand alone, clearly, with the office of the CIO, and certainly many times with the office of the COO as well, because of these transformations around AI. But you have a big responsibility, because agentic AI is going to reshape how work gets done. As we've been discussing, it's going to redefine how talent, how workforce planning, how organizational design itself is taking place. And as we've been discussing, it's a big task. I won't pretend otherwise. But if you want to have really better outcomes, better organizations, and better outputs, you're going to have to lead from the front. And you're going to have to be embracing it now. So as I said before, it can feel overwhelming, right? But that's the reason why we're here, to learn from each other, to share with each other, and to inspire each other. And I think this good news is you're not alone. You just need to look around, and where many of us are kind of going into that journey. And we're here to support you. And we've been supporting many of you during the last few years on this transformation of Agentic AI. Even, look at A4 Copilot that we introduced over a year ago. And that is an early step forward towards an agentic future that many of you have been already adopting. Right? So we've been working towards that mission for quite a few years now. And clearly, as our Gen AI capabilities have been improving, that has become more real. And now we're just having an understanding of how agentic AI is changing things on the work on real time, not only what it can suggest, but what it can really do. And at A4, we've been on a transformation and supporting companies, is basically what we've been built for. We launched the company in 2016 to really help our companies on how to scale and evolve with talent, with work, with skills, and supporting all of you on that transformation. And we've been doing our best, and I think we'd really deliver on that one, to do this journey on a very ethical and responsible AI way. And we feel really proud that since day one, we built with fairness, with transparency, with safety. And those principles are tremendously important in order for you to have trust and confidence in terms of the outputs that you are delivering. Right? And today, we're really doing this at the scale, over 155 countries, 24 languages. So it's good to have that opportunity, and we're really grateful for many of you giving us that opportunity. So thank you for that. And throughout this journey, we've been having the opportunity to work with many of you. We had the pleasure to work with one of the largest telecommunication companies in the world. And as many of you, they were burdened with a very complex HR tech stack, And that was creating basically confusion, disruption, manual processes, and really not much efficiency. Right? Because they were having far too many disparate systems. So we helped them out to consolidate those systems from 10 to around 1. Right? So I would say the first thing is you are able to have a single version or a single view of the truth from recruitment to development, basically to the whole cycle of the employee. But also I think it is tremendously important, especially in a time where we're all asked to do more with less. We're all asked to do some savings, and basically that also takes some time to reduction in the number of systems, some of those legacy systems, and consolidation of systems. And I know many of you are grappling with that question today as well. So we feel, we would like to engage in conversations with you, how we can engage, how we can help you if you are being asked within the organization to commit and basically deliver on some of these goals. And and that is just one of the examples, but basically there are many examples. I would say every kind of logos here has their own journey, has their own story. But as I said before, we've been having the opportunity to do that at scale, across geographies, across organizations of many different sizes and scales, and across many different industries. And clearly, we've been able to deliver results, throughout that journey that we're very proud. And again, we've not done this on a vacuum. We've done this together with you. We've done this together with our partners. And to highlight some of those results, because at the end of the day, we try to implement these systems to ensure that we provide value, that there is that adoption, and that and we're having impact with your organizations. And clearly, these are significant kind of impact value terms for me. When you think about you can hire the right candidate 3 weeks earlier, imagine the impact that is having in your organization. And I think the important word here is the right candidate. Right? When you think about that in a world where candidates are more demanding than ever before, and they have high expectations on how you engage with them on that talent, because let's be honest, top talent has significant opportunities to choose from, and you're able to do it with an NPS of around 76%. That is something we're proud of in helping you to really, find out that right candidate who is a top talent candidate. And you know what? When you're able to find the right candidate and assign them to the right opportunities, they stay longer, to the point of around 12% increased retention ratios on candidates with higher match scores compare with candidates with lower match scores. And that comes from a survey we did over 100,000 candidates over the database. That has significant economic and value impact, right? Of around $1.2 billion saved on retention costs, or around close to $5 billion on talent rediscovery. Because that opportunity to really go into talent pools and basically understand what could be, basic passive candidates or historic candidates that could fulfill some of the jobs that you're looking at, having those skills and capabilities, clearly drives significant value. And there are many of you that have been doing this at a scale. And there are many of you that are starting and are going on this journey. And today we here have one customer that have been doing that job at a scale and have been really transforming the workforce into a ready future workforce and has been really doing a really tremendous skills transformation. So please join me in welcoming on stage Sue Elfield from Coca-Cola Europe Pacific Partners. How are you today, Sue?
Great. Thank you, Chano, for the opportunity to come and join you here.
Thank you for joining us. You didn't travel from far, did you?
No, I'm just Guildford, so I'm just an hour and a bit away. So.
Good, but still, thank you very much for making the time to be here with us. You truly, and your organization, I know some of your colleagues are here as well, so thank you for joining us. Have done a terrific job transforming. Maybe let's start just talking a little bit, give us a little bit of understanding on who is Coca-Cola Europe Pacific Partners and what's your role within your organization.
For sure. So I lead culture and leadership, which is a global part of our organization. And Coca-Cola Europe Pacific Partners has been one of the largest bottlers for the Coca-Cola system. So we're separate from the Coca-Cola company. We're separately listed on the FTSE. We're 75 in the FTSE 100 index. Organization that when I joined 10 years ago was purely doing bottling for the organization for Europe, Northern Europe in particular, in 13 countries for about 10,000 employees. And over the last 10 years, we've grown significantly by acquisition and merger. And we're now an organization in 31 countries, with 41,000 colleagues and a 20 billion revenue. So it's a large organization, and quite frankly, when I joined 10 years ago, it probably felt like, from a systems point of view, we were a bit in the 1970s. Everything was PowerPoint and Excel. I'm sure some people can relate, but we've really been on an accelerated digital journey because we set ourselves a vision to become one of the world's most digital bottlers.
That's fantastic. I think Excel is never going to go away. I keep hearing it from 20 years that it's going away. It's not going away. We love it at the end of the day. Anyhow, so I'm sure you started some of this transformation because you, within the organization, saw some challenges, some big pain points at that point in time. So can you share a little bit how that journey started?
Yeah, so, there were quite a few critical pain points. Probably the one big wake-up call was our own internal recruiters were not having any real visibility of all these people around the world. We'd grown into Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, Indonesia, as well as Northern Europe. And without any unified digital system, lots of different systems across the organization, the recruiters were having to go to LinkedIn to find out information about our people. And then that information wasn't really configured in a way that was useful for us. What were their real aspirations? What were their mobility abilities? What were their language skills? So we realized we had a problem there that we needed to fix quite quickly because, we're recruiting and moving and mobilizing our people around the world, and it wasn't really scalable. The second critical problem for us was in succession planning. We didn't really have a system for being able to collect information other than picking up the phone saying, who do you know? And it becoming not the most inclusive way of looking at all of the talent that we had around the organization. And when we looked externally, all right, we need a system for this, we couldn't find something that would fit our needs. And so we realized we had to partner with someone to build something that, gosh, if we can't find that system out there that can really do succession planning well, other organizations must have the same problem. And we were delighted that having built the talent ecosystem with a career hub internally with Eightfold, that you were willing to actually listen to our succession problems and help build a system that could work for us, but also work for other organizations. And that's been a real game changer for us in being able to build credibility with our board and our exec leadership team, because we can present our succession plans in an instant without trying to consolidate a million PowerPoints. And with role-based permissions, we know it's safe, and we are able to deploy that around the world so that we gather that intelligence of our people going forward.
Well, thank you for the partnership. A great job. We talk a little bit about Agentic AI, and I'm sure you're grappling with some of the questions internally that that I've been mentioning. But how do you see it impacting your employees or your organization, and how are you supporting them?
Yeah. I think Agentic AI is something that, we're curious about. We don't know what we don't know. So coming to events like this is fantastic because we'll learn a huge amount. We are implementing some elements of Agentic AI, but with real care. What we're looking at is, what's the real world impact? Where is it going to really make a difference for our customers, in our supply chain, but also for the employee experience? So we're doing a few things. We've set up an AI academy just to demystify some of the terminology and hopefully build a bit more understanding and positive awareness of what Agentic AI can do for you. We, like a lot of global companies, are going down trying to be more standardized, trying to make sure we've got great workforce design and great shared services. But to do that, you also need to then look at how can you become more and more efficient onwards. And we think Agentic AI has the potential to do that. But we're going to take it step by step and with care, because we also believe that we have a bit of a strap line in our organization, which is people join for the brands, but they stay for the people. And it's that mix of fantastic technology, but with a human touch, that we think is really, really important. And I think when you're employing people and we're bringing in more and more young people into our business, they are expecting an experience that is slick and not jarring. You're used to it in your outside world. So when you come into your organization, you want those systems to work for you and to be something where you can find things and you're easy to do business with. And we think all those complex, boring tasks is where Agentic AI could really make a difference.
Okay, that's good. How's the academy going? Is it getting good acceptance within the employees?
It's early days, so it really is. We're at the start. What we set up is subject matter experts internally, because you always have those pockets of people who are just early adopters, and those people really are helping reverse mentor some of our people like me that need to learn a bit quicker. We're having AI incubators as well, where we take a use case, we try and help people learn how to write a business use case for a particular Agentic AI, and then we really test, is it feasible, is it scalable to the global scale that we have, and does it actually return any of that investment? Because you can spend an awful lot of money on these things unless you know where it's going. I'm intrigued I was at dinner last night, and we were talking about your recruiting module with Agentic AI agents, and I'm intrigued to see how that is and what the experience.
Make sure you try it out. All of you should try it out outside. It's fun. It's a good experience.
Right.
You've been a great sparring partner to us for a number of years, right? So let's talk a little bit about our partnership and maybe the good, the bad, and the ugly in terms of how we've supported or accelerated all your workforce transformation.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I think we always had a bit of a vision that we wanted to have a digital roadmap from here to 2030 and beyond. And finding that partnership with somebody who's prepared to listen, not just pump a system at you, has been very, very helpful. We started, as I said, with building that talent ecosystem for the Career Hub. And of course you get some teething problems. One of our other phrases, it's always progress over perfection. So you implement a system, you spend a long time building that infrastructure with all of the critical skills, identifying the critical skills. I think what's helped is you've really helped us think about skills in a different way, and the way that being a more skills-based organisation can really help. But it's that upfront work of identifying I think we identified the 100 most critical skills, and then locking that in with each role to say, well, what are the 4 to 5 critical skills for this role from those? So helping us with the structuring of all of that, which we didn't have the experience on, has been a fantastic partnership. When we first launched the Career Hub, of course you get some fun teething problems whilst the AI is trying to learn the different rules and the rule bases. So, you have to warn your workforce sometimes. It won't get it perfect. The nudges it'll give you won't be perfect straight away, but they'll learn over time. It's interesting when you get a senior exec saying, well, I just got Career Hub nudging me to go and be a customer service rep in Nottingham, and you go, we haven't quite got the rules right yet. So you learn as you go along that it's learning, but it's built with us then leaning in. You've been great at saying, engage with us, give us stakeholder feedback. And one of my colleagues, Susie's in the room, she spends a lot of time actually, and it's time well invested, speaking to your team, saying, we need to just tweak this, we need to change this. And then we work out together how we make that more and more powerful. And it really has been a journey, which has given us the confidence, as I say, to move to the succession plan module. And now our next step will be getting into the whole recruitment and candidate management system. So we're doing it step by step.
What a great journey. By the way, I think netting it to 100 skills or critical skills is a phenomenal outcome. We all tend to say, we manage over 1 million skills, but at the end of the day, kind of understanding what really makes sense for you is superb. Throughout the journey, anything you would say really to the audience that might be on consideration of starting that you would really strongly recommend, or something that you did like, wow, I would really stay away from that one if I would do it again?
Yeah, I think we did start from a base of being hopefully employee inspired. So we really listened to our employees to start with. We looked at engagement survey data. We wanted to improve our engagement scores. They weren't bad, they were good, strong engagement scores. But there was one particular question that was worrying us, which is our colleagues said that on the question, I feel that CCEP supports my ability to learn and grow, our scores were really quite low. And so we first went, well, let's do some focus groups about why. Mm-hmm. And that was because our colleagues were confused about how they navigated their careers. They wanted more support for navigating careers. So bringing in that system. But fundamentally, it's start with knowing what you want to achieve. So ours started with, what's the business problem to solve? How can we solve it? Who are the providers out there that can solve it? And who's prepared to partner with us? So we started with a sort of vision of, we want a talent ecosystem, we want succession planning, and we want a better recruitment and candidate experience. And then we brought that to you, and you really partnered with us and actually built upon our strategy, especially around skills-based organisations. And what we've learned is our engagement since we started in 2021 with our UK business, our engagement scores went up 6%, but our growth scores for that one question have gone up 16 points in that period. So people are having much more confidence to use the system. We started with 2% of our colleagues having a talent profile or talent card. We've now got 80% adoption. And that's not been us having to really hard nag people to do it. It's because the system is slick, it's user-friendly, it's designed with the user in mind, and people can use it on their own devices or work devices. And what we're seeing now is cross-functional mobility because of this skills-based approach, which is increasing. And those that are engaging with our Career Hub, we have 2% less turnover, and they're 3 times more likely to move internally with us. So I think altogether it's about having that vision of what we wanted, articulating it to you as a partner, and then really working with you to say, right, which modules should we go for next? And you not pushing us too fast, but you've allowed us to go faster than we ever felt we could, with more confidence. And, you know, it's really given us internally a lot of credibility and a lot of, you know, a sense of confidence of where we're going forward.
Well, thank you for that feedback, and thank you again for the partnership. So what comes next in terms of your evolution of the strategy, you know, and the partnership with AFOL, and any final thing you would recommend to the audience, or any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the next big step will be improving the recruitment modules with your help. We have, you know, as I say, we're recruiting both internally and externally. We're wanting to make sure that that cross-functional ability to move talent is absolutely fluid. And our big focus now is improving that recruitment candidate experience going forward, looking at how we can use agentic AI over time with care to become much more productive and efficient, but always, as we say, with that human touch.
That's great to hear. Well, Sue, it's been a pleasure being here with you. It's been a pleasure, you know, partnering with you and your team, and thank you for your support. I'm sure you will have quite a number of questions later on.
Yeah, I'll be around for the day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being around, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
For being with us.